Hi all, I'm Dr. Sujila, Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Application at Dr. SNS College of Arts and Science. And today the lecture video I'm going to discuss is about queues and data structure. A queue is literally an ordered list which enables insertion and deletion operations, and this is called as a first in first out, and this is referred to as FIFO. And this is the schematic diagram of queue where front and rear pointer will be pointing at the first index of the queue, and it has a rear and front point where rear will be pointing out for insertion and front will be used for deletion. So these are the operations that has been performed in a queue. First one is Enqueue. So this operation is used to store the element in the queue, and Dequeue is an operation which is used to remove an element from the queue. And before performing Enqueue or Dequeue operations, we have to check whether the queue is empty or null. For that, the function we use is full, so which is used to check whether the queue is full or not. And null function has been used to evaluate if the queue is empty. And another operations which we use is the peek operation, which we get the element from the front of the queue without removing it. So these are the basic operations that has been performed in the operation of queue. So initially when a queue is empty, we have to set the front point has -1. So this -1 indicates that the queue is empty, and as well the rear pointer is also has to be fixed to -1. So this indicates that the queue is empty. So no elements have been inserted or no elements have been in the queue. Next, so this video will be showing you and how and operations will be performed in a queue. So first Enqueue operation has been used to insert an element. So first element 12 has been inserted, next is 2 and next is 0. So this shows that the end point will be moving on when a new element is being moved. So this is how a queue is functioned in a element insertions and deletion. Next, so this shows a clear schematic diagram of how the previous video has worked. So in Enqueue, first Enqueue operation has been performed. It is asking Enqueue of 10. So this shows that an element of 10 has to be inserted into the queue. So the front pointer will be pointing to the first index of 0, and the rear pointer will be also indexing to the point of 0. So an element 10 will be inserted. Next it will be just searching for the next looping. So the next looping we got is Enqueue of 20. So Enqueue of 20 shows that the 20 of the element has to be inserted into the queue. So after 10, the rear pointer will be moving to the index 1, and the front will be remaining as it is in the front of the 0 index. And next it will be checking for the other looping is Enqueue of 30. So here it has to perform an insertion of 30 into the queue. So 30 will be inserted into the queue, where the rear pointer will be moved on to the index of 2 and the front pointer will be remaining as it is. Next, how a Dequeue operation is performed is, in Dequeue operation, when compared to Enqueue operation, the front point will be remaining on the index of 0. But in case of Dequeue operation, the front pointer will be moved on when the index of 0 becomes empty. Unless or until it becomes empty, the front pointer will be on the same position. So first operation Enqueue 10 has been performed and the element of 10 has been inserted, and then Enqueue of 20, which means the 20 has been inserted, and Enqueue of 30 element have been enqueued. And finally we have performed an operations of Dequeue and again Dequeue. So this tells that the first element of the queue has to be eliminated, as it comes under the concept of first come first serve. So FIFO, so the first element which is inserted is 10 will be popped out or dequeued from the queue. Then the front pointer will be moving to the index 1, where the other operations of 20 has to be deleted from the queue. Then the front pointer will be going on to the next point where it has an element of 30 in the queue. Again, if we want to perform a Dequeue, then the 30 element also will be eliminated or deleted. So this is how the algorithm works. First we have to check if the queue is full or not. If the queue is full, then we have to print an error message and we have to just exit. If the queue is empty, then set both the front and the rear pointer to 0. If the queue is empty, means we have to set front and rear to 0. Then in case of insertion, we have to increment the rear pointer, then add the new element to the position pointing out to the rear point, and then we have to return the algorithm. So the same function is performed in Dequeue operation. First, we have to check whether the queue is empty. If the queue is empty, then we have to print a message. Else, we have to store the front element in a variable to return later. And if the front and the rears are pointing to the same element, then if the queue has only one element, reset both the front and the rear to -1, which means that the queue is empty. Otherwise, increment the front pointer, then we have to return to the stored front element. So this is how a Dequeue algorithm works. So this is the overall operation of um, queue concept, and the way the applications of queue is used in, it's widely used in the waiting list for a single shared resources like printer, disks and CPU. It is also used as a buffer in most of the applications like MP3 media players and CD players. And then it was also used to maintain the playlist in a media player in order to add and remove the song from the playlist. And it is used in the operating system for handling interrupts. So these are the popular applications where the queue of data structure has been used. So the popular applications in the software applications where queue is used is Domino's, Swiggy and Zomato. Where the order of the ID reaches front of the queue, then the delivery will be processed. So this is one of the real-time example of how a queue is used in the food delivery system. So the key takeaways is a queue is a linear data structure, and the operations that has been performed is the Enqueue and Dequeue, and there are 4 types of queues. We use to serve the purpose of first come first serve, and we can handle multiple data set types.